Because actually we are life. And in that life, work is a part. They are not two different things that I am balancing out, two different sides. So when I'm in work, do you think I'm not living? Or do you think I don't have emotions? Or do you think I'm not making connections? Or do you think I'm not enjoying life? When I go to work, I become a robot and working. Doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
And same way, if I'm living, do you think I'm not working? I'm living, I'm cleaning the house, I'm still putting things properly, I'm still planning for what next can be done. So
Right.
I don't take them as two separate things which are exclusive with each other. They are integrated.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of PeopleHum's Interview Series. I am Anokni Kamre from the PeopleHum team. We are an award-winning AI-powered human capital management platform recognized globally for crafting exceptional employee experience and driving the performance of work. We're proud to run a thriving blog and video channel that attracts over 400,000 visitors annually. Through our platform, we share insightful conversations with thought leaders across the globe. Today, I'm delighted to introduce our guest, Dr. Archana Yemeshvary Upadhyay. Dr. Archana has 3 decades of corporate experience wherein she's worked in various HR domains such as industrial relations, talent acquisition, employee capability building, performance management, and organizational development. She's a master certified coach accredited by the International Coach Federation, a certified balance scorecard professional, and a certified procurement professional as well. She holds a management postgraduate and doctorate from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. Dr. Archana's work has been recognized internationally, and she's collaborated with renowned industry experts such as Daniel Goleman and Marshall Goldsmith. She has been a keynote speaker at various national and international forums and also trained senior leaders and bureaucrats from government and public sector organizations. She's also an avid yogi and nature lover, finding solace and joy in meditation, mindfulness, and trekking in the Himalayas. Hello, Dr. Rachana. Welcome to the People Hum Interview Series. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for inviting me. And such a great introduction. Feels really good.
Awesome. How are you doing, Dr. Rachana?
Good as it is. And as usual, the work going on.
Absolutely. So, Dr. Rachna, your journey is truly unique. You've worked across life coaching and HR for large organizations. These are two areas that have a significant impact on people's lives. So, how do you see these two fields intersecting to create a better workplace experience?
A very good question that you have asked. See, I've been in HR and handling all domains of HR. And when my journey started in coaching, I did both. I found that the both have lot of similarities. In fact, they are very complementary to each other. So just have a look at what HR wants and does with employees. So HR will recruit the talent. Okay? They will want to nurture it. So the talent development is there. You train them, you do the performance assessment. The whole objective around that is that the employee is giving its best performance, that the employee is being his best version,
Yeah.
his or her best version. Then what you do is you make sure that they remain motivated, they remain engaged with the company, they are contributing and they are aligned with the strategy of the organization.
Yeah.
And that, they grow up as leaders in the organization because you have these talent set with you over a period of time. They want them to become great leaders, right?
Right.
And the HR works on the domain of well-being, the mental health, wellness, stress management, and creating a all overall culture. Culture basically gets created by people who are there in the organization.
Right.
Now, this is the side that you see with the HR people doing. What is coaching? Now, if you see in the coaching, the whole idea about the coaching, the philosophy is that We will coach a person to be their better version. Now, if you see at this level, both are matching, intersecting with each other. Because the primary objective that both HR and coaching has, that they be their best version. Okay? Employees become their best version. Even if you start an executive coaching to solve, some problems of the office or execution, or let's say leadership coaching, when you're coaching leaders for leadership, what eventually happens is that it will come down to their beliefs, their values, the way they operate, the way they deal with people.
Right.
That will further drill down as in what are the life experiences that made them what they are. So if somebody is some leader, for example, is not being assertive enough to handle that team well, there are certain life experience that has made him like that. There are certain blocks perhaps which may be there, which needs to be opened up. So even if you move from executive and leadership coaching, deep down somewhere, some space of life has to be touched. So
Right.
the life coaching is that part where a person, an individual, is able to look back into the life, see how they can make their life better, how they can make themselves better, and that's where they can, in their role of leader or in their role of manager or in their role of an executive, they become better. Therefore, I see that they are two very ingrained paths with each other. Like how you see the uh, uh you see, आई डोंट नो हाउ टू से दैट, आपकी चोटी बनाते हैं ना स्कूल में,
Yes.
उसके
Yes.
दोनों प्लेट्स होते हैं जो ब्रेड किए होते हैं.
Correct.
So some it's like that, braided together. And the HR, if person, if he can naturally become a coach, or if the managers and leaders naturally become the coach, or they have the coaching mindset, that itself will do a lot of good for the HR domain to be very effective in their objectives and for employees to bloom and become their best version. So I see these two intersecting like that.
Right, right. I think it's a great perspective and also an interesting one. And I see it's clear that combining these two approaches can certainly create more meaningful and supportive workplaces.
Absolutely, absolutely. Coaching is the way, nowadays, current leadership style cannot be authoritative style. It has to, evolve into a very, very, uh, very a style where the leaders are constantly into the coaching space and they are operating from the coaching mindset. Then you see how leadership will happen. Otherwise, with Generation Z, you, I don't think we can have the same old ways of leadership as it used to be.
No, absolutely. And I think my next question was around the same
Yeah.
perspective that the workplace is changing rapidly, and especially with millennials and Gen Zs becoming the majority of it. So their expectations and priorities are also very different as compared to the previous generations. So, what do you think HR leaders and teams can do to meet their needs and build a culture that attracts and retains the top talent?
Mhm. Very good question. In fact, very pertinent, and this is something that organizations and leaders must not miss out. See, what will happen is the companies, how do they grow? Companies will have one generation of people, then they move out, then another generation of people come in, another generation of people come in. That's how organizations sustain. So at any point of time, there are at least 3 or 4 generation of people present in the organization, right? So, and there is no escape. If the organization has to keep growing year after year after year, it has to transform itself to the ways and the tunes of the new generation, which is going to be there. Okay? Because they are the one who's performing, delivering, and getting the organization objective met. So it is important that we understand that there is the actual people, who are working on the ground, on the field. They are people who are from a different generation, from the leaders' generation.
Yeah.
And presently, we are seeing millennials are there. Baby bloomers also, we are just,
Right.
we're passing out actually. Okay. Then we have millennials, then we have Gen Z, we have I, we have this alpha coming down. Okay. Looking forward to them. Somehow, I feel they're pretty, the alphas are quite evolved, I would say on a spiritual scale also, I find them pretty evolved. And fortunately, as a coach, I have had this exposure with this generation, because when I'm dealing with them, interacting with them in their coaching dialogues, I get to know their mindsets. So uh, it's a very interesting thing for me, and that's why I feel that organizations must get ready, and they must evolve to accommodate them, or give space to them. It's going to be their era. Okay.
Right.
Now, if you look at these people, millennials were those who were millennials. I will say they are also become older now in the organization, but they had this work-life balance. They had this ethics. Were looking for meaning in life. What is the purpose, which is there, and that was their major domain. And a lot more things, but this is where we understood millennials a bit. And now the generation which is following them, they are very, I see them very, very digital. Everything has to be digital for them.
Yeah.
And it seems as if, this coming generations, I mean, children who are born nowadays, I see as if they know already what is mobiles, what is digital. So digital is something that if you don't get your organization digital ready or digitalized,
Yeah.
these guys will not even be able to live with you. They'll not look at you also. They'll say this is something we're not compatible with. They'll find it very difficult to be in that space. So it is very important that we look at that. Second is, they are like very sustainability conscious.
Yeah.
They're seeing that how the entire nature is there, and they're very conscious about this.
Yeah.
Then I also see that our this generation is very ethical. I mean, ethical in the sense, their definition of ethical is different, by the way. It's like what is wrong, what is wrong, right.
Yeah.
We don't, that morals and all, we don't say. They have their own definition. I
Right.
find quite a few that they're not very religion specific or faith specific. They're more about what makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's what they do. And they will rather do something for humanity than, going to temples and doing a worship, etc.
Yeah.
So, but then the compassion, the spirit inside is very, very noble.
Yeah.
And they want everything to happen fast. Okay. Can't wait. uh, they're not eating well. All mothers say so. Their eating habit is I find different, and it's very amusing and interesting. The way they are eating. They're not eating bulky food. They're eating small, little, moving. They're very frisk. They're very health conscious, and somewhere what we actually say in spirituality also, that eat little, eat these kind of foods.
Right.
Somewhere the foods have changed. The food habits are changing for them.
Yeah.
So, and I find that's great. I really appreciate that. So now that we understand them like this, if you don't make your organization open like that,
Yeah.
they won't stay. If they won't stay, you won't survive. So you rather change. Let's make everything digital. Let's make things open. By the way, they won't want to be contained into the rooms. Earlier we will get very good cabins, so we'll find you're a big person. They don't want to affiliate with the concept of big person or small person. In fact, they are not in the rat race. They're not in the designation or the hierarchy race. They are more looking for equality. They
Yeah.
will respect a person even junior to them, younger to them, if they have a certain kind of skill set and their talent. So that's a big shift I see in them. So the era of the big cabins or the corner room or the chase of the hierarchy or the rat race, I see all of it dying down. I think
Right.
that might just be for a little while. It's not going to be all the time here with the coming generations.
Yeah.
Um, one more thing I was saying is, yes, they like open spaces,
Right.
and their working style is not 9 to 5. So it's like, this is my office time, this is my working time. No. Whenever it triggers me, something that excites me, something that shows me a purpose, if it excites me in the middle of the night, I will get up and do it.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't excite me, even in the office time, I will not want to stay there. It's as clear as that. That's how I see the generations. So we got to be understanding. We
Yeah.
got to be making our policies, systems. We need to revisit. We need to revisit the way we work, the working hours, the approach, the leadership style. So each of these aspects need to be visited. The faster we go, the better we would be with them. And yeah, that's how I see the whole of the Generation Z and the organizations coming together.
Right. I think I agree with all the points that you just mentioned because I also come from the same generation and I could resonate with a lot of those points. And since we're
Hmm.
talking about adapting and evolving, and you also mentioned that technology is playing a huge role now in the organization and in also the human resources department at the moment. AI in particular is transforming processes like recruitment, performance management, employee engagement. So, how do you think HR teams can leverage AI to improve efficiency while still maintaining that human connection or human touch?
Yeah. So whenever I look at AI, I feel a sense of connection in a very different way. It looks like an adopted child. So it organizations have no way out. Let's take it as an adopted employee or an adopted child and integrate it. Because if you don't do it, anybody who's coming in Gen Z and all, he will not do anything without the technology.
Yeah,
So he's so much used and ingrained into it. So might as well give him that, and make your whole infrastructure very tech savvy. And not the physical infrastructure, the way you work out, that's what work and do business has to be all on technology. Organizations cannot avoid it. It is impossible. It will seep into the organizations. Okay? Now, how do you prepare it? That's important. So one is you take them, you take it in, and you make all your like how use of AI policies can also be there. AI, your employees have to be trained because you got so many different generations. So some will pick up fast, some will not. Make that kind of, earlier we used to have senior people as trainer. Now it's time we have younger people as trainers and
yeah,
they can train the rest of the organization on the AI. But the training is important. Another thing important is, one caution is that AI should not become your master. It should always be your partner, at the most partner. Maybe first solution, but the partner. So that much is the control or maybe caution that we take so that we know how to develop our people to be able to use it in their function, but in the process, not become the intelligence, the intuition, the vision shall not become redundant.
yeah,
Okay. See, today we don't remember big tables. We used to, when we were children, our parents used to teach us, what do you say? Tables, mathematical tables, two, two, ja, four, like that. No?
yeah,
Now nobody teaches, nobody remembers, no need is there. So mental calculations have stopped.
yeah,
So everything is happening on the machines, phone. I mean, simple things. There is this risk, because if the AI will do drafting so well, you'll stop thinking to draft. You'll say, draft me this thing and give. So people will lose. I see that risk. The people will lose the capability of expressing their true, real self in words if you
hmm,
don't do that yourself.
yeah,
Okay. So this can you see that subtle thing that I'm trying to highlight?
yeah,
We lost the mathematical ability of calculation. We should not be losing that. With the AI, we are losing the capability of expressing ourselves. We should not be losing it. Otherwise, we'll become, some life just breathing. That's not right. So the
yeah,
mental capabilities of the human beings have to be going on well. In fact, I am of a view that we should go for enhanced consciousness upgradations because just as you have AI upgradation in the machines, your human system can be upgraded. Okay?
Right.
And it gets upgrade in the terms of consciousness. We are at a certain level of consciousness. We should be version 2, version 3, version 4, and the level of the consciousness should increase. As that enhances, there is these capabilities of visualizing, the intuition, the other capabilities like how the yogic capabilities are. It's, you may find and call them supernatural, but they are actually, achievable. So that kind of focus should work on human beings. The rest of the mundane and the routine work can be handled by the AI. So
Right.
this caution leaders, visionaries must take. And
Right.
then uh, AI, the thing is, whenever you see that some kind of AI ka kuch deviations hai, or something which is going unethical, or something that can go hazardous or dangerous, that much check must be put in place. So I think this is it.
Right.
But
Then, yeah.
it has to be there. It will be there. You cannot avoid it.
Right, absolutely. But uh, i- if you could help us understand how has implementing technology and AI into your day-to-day HR practices helped you maybe automate
Uh,
your HR operations, if you could help us understand, or maybe if you could share a couple of instances with our audience today.
Okay, okay. So, yeah, I think I'll get down to that practical thing. I really went up on a different level when I answered this question. Yeah. Yeah, so when you take this AI in the HR domain, see all your recruitment. Now, almost everything can be done from screening of your applications. Okay. And then uh, the only thing that would be left, it is easier to sell that is even interviewing, even these qualifications, this basic screening, you already have ATS in space. uh, so all these things can happen, but when you interview a person or you meet a person, okay, there is this sense of energy you get with them.
Right,
बहुत मोरोन है, बड़ा enthusiastic है, he's enthusiastic, he's energetic, he seems, something seems wrong about him, so you explore little further.
yeah,
Okay, sometimes when I interviewing and I find something amiss, and I explore, and invariably I've gotten to the point where something was missing. So that's very intuitive thing, and that's very energy sensing, which your AI won't be able to do. Rest everything your recruitment it can do, and it'll make it very fast. The other problem that we will face is that the candidate who's coming is coming prepared with the AI. His application is done by the AI. His answers are done with the AI. He's already checked in probable questions that will be there in the interview and seen the answers from the AI. So when you start interviewing them, you see that, sometimes it looks that all 10 people I interviewed are churned out of the same factory and a copy of each other because they've all prepared themselves with the help of AI. So
right,
the natural tendency for me goes towards, picking up somebody who's so very genuine rather than prepared like this.
right,
So that's one space. Then you go into performance management. Yeah, performance management, it will be everything done. Only thing, everything it will do, huh? From rating to seeing who's got the potential, who's got. Today, those kind of packages are still in progress. Some of them are in place at a certain level. Some of them will evolve. I am telling you a situation where everything will be evolved. Your PM can be done by the PMS can be done by the AI.
correct,
What it would not be able to do is you're looking at, see, there may be a person who's got into a certain situation, or maybe he's not done well this time. The pattern can be shown by the AI. But if you really explore down what was amiss this year, was he going through some phase of life? Okay. Then that options AI might give you check it out, check it out. You can check, you can see whether there is truth in that, what he's saying, or there is no truth in that. Basis are taking a call whether to take him into a moderations when you do, or when you have to take them into next levels or not.
yeah,
Okay. Similar training, training, it's AI has almost become our guru and teacher.
yeah,
Everything is there. Okay. From content development to teaching. I want to take up one assignment. If I want to take up a new, absolutely new assignment, which I do not know, I only have to revert back to AI. It will guide me through with everything. But
right.
the personal connect that I will make to leverage through that. Am I on the line of expectation of your answers?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, okay. So it will happen. So I'm trying to highlight what it would not be able to do for which human being would be required. Huh? Okay. Analytics, everything you're getting from the AI. The employee wellness part, which is there, and the engagement part, which is there. So all medical data, everything can be managed by showing what is the tendency of the person, what kind of care it should take. But the wellness is something like this, if you feeling low and somebody came, made you feel good about yourself. You felt so great
Yeah.
after that. Even if you were feeling sick, you got that energy to get up and, get moving and doing certain things. That is something that AI won't come up and tell you.
Yes.
If you program it, maybe it can just, sense and give you certain questions and all at a higher level, maybe, many years down the line, that it may try that also. But AI cannot bring the same kind of energy that a human being brings in.
Right. Right.
That emotion, that charge, that genuineness, that reality. It still looks plastic.
Right.
Even if it may be saying the same sentences that somebody else will say to you while being empathetic, but it doesn't come up with the same energy as a human being will come up with. So, and there is a reason behind that. If I go into that, there will be a lot of time that you will miss on. Okay. Just to give an a hint is there is a limbic system of one human being which gets integrated with the limbic system of another human being, and that is not what happens with the AI.
Right.
So we'll take that separately. But coming back in HR domain, every domain AI can be helpful, and it will be introduced. You will have the spaces which are essential, and that is the role and the duty of the HR professionals and seniors to ensure that that remains, so that the human connect remains with people, in the organization. Otherwise, if you leave everything, all transactional HR only you do and leave all that to AI, there is no connect that any employee has with anybody.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So,
Absolutely. I think it's
so
such a balanced view that you've put out today. It's exciting to also see the potential of AI and technology. But as you said, keeping the human touch is key to making these tools truly effective.
yeah, yeah.
Let's shift gears to another big change, the rise of hybrid and remote work models after the pandemic. So these
Mm.
setups have opened up to new opportunities, but also brings challenges along with it. So from an HR perspective, how can organizations ensure productivity while promoting collaboration, engagement, and employee well-being?
There are certain spaces where certain companies are giving jobs which are totally virtual. You can work from home,
Yes.
and some companies are ensuring that at least 2 days or 3 days you come to office. They found it very difficult to bring back to them to office for all the days, so
Yeah.
they somehow said at least come for a few days. Okay. Now the challenge of engaging them, their productivity and well-being.
Yeah.
Anyway, come to well-being. Now that case, these people are taking care of their well-being. Okay. They're actually very happy working from their home and not coming to office. They're well enough. They will say, we don't want office lunch, but I want to work from home, because that works out better for me. That I feel happier in that. My health and all are taken care anyway with me. I come to office anyway, if your relationships and all are not very great with your boss and peers and all, you would rather avoid them.
Yeah.
You know, you just write me what work you want me to get done. When you're written, I will write you back. This is the work done. He's better. He is well, he doesn't want to face him all the time.
Yeah.
Only a few places, some cases, people may be staying alone and they may be wanting to be with themselves. So they may want connections. They're
Right.
making their own connections in family and friends, and I can work from anywhere. I can travel and work. So wellness can be left to them. They are happy that way. Okay.
Right.
Hybrid cases, okay. Hybrid cases also when they're coming, they at least have to say, okay, few days only, so no problem. At most wellness, what you can take care of them is that you give them that space. Don't torture them for, working from their space and coming in a hybrid mode.
Yeah.
Don't discriminate them for promotions or things like that. That's the best thing you can do for their wellness.
Yeah.
Leave it to themselves. Okay? They'll be happier. Don't interfere with them. Continue their gym allowance, this allowance, all those benefits that are there, continue that. They will be very happy and grateful to you that you have left them to themselves.
Right.
Coming on to the productivity. Even productivity, see a person who's happy and doing well is fine. Productivity is going to be fine. Okay. Uh, and the productivity, one important element is clarity.
Yeah.
How much clarity have you given about what work is to be done? What is the outcome to be delivered? So that clarity has to be very good, which means the communication has to be very, very timely also and very good also.
Yeah.
So once you find that particular part, this is where you can be sure that the person will work and give it in their own time. Trust them, give them their own time. However, if it is coming in fakes, if it is not coming in time, it is that then you got to be demanding on it.
Yeah.
So the way there has to be some process methodologies to be changed, that this is what is required and this is to be given.
Yeah.
In fact, some places productivity went up during COVID because the things were getting done on writing. People were, they were to give back that work. Then they were working. I'll tell you, I have worked during COVID. I've just slept 3 or 4 hours. I worked day and night.
Oh,
So it was because all employees were, employees are coming to office. You got to be taking care of their anxiety. Got to be taking care of the anxiety of their family members. We were running so many initiatives, mindfulness initiatives, and all. I think HR and coaches both were busiest during COVID time.
right.
Okay. So much of work we had to do. So to say that from work from home or a hybrid mode productivity would be an issue, I do not see that. I only see how do you communicate with them, how do you give the work, how do you demand follow up the work, what is their deadline, and allow them that space, support whatever support they need. Suppose they are unable to do something in office, you will go to your peer, you will ask somebody. Okay, that will happen. If you're not in the office, who do you ask? And you have an environment which is different. Imagine you're sitting in a mountainic, scenic beauty, and there you are stuck with some problem you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And now what to do? Okay. So that ability to be able to connect to the right resources, to right mentors, to right staffs, that kind of support can be given to them.
Yeah.
And free Wi-Fi for anyway, the Wi-Fi has to be there. That is the bloodline, or you can say nervous system line for you,
Yeah.
organization and the employee. That connection has to be there.
Yeah.
Now, how do you engage them? What happens is today it is easy to engage a person even if he is at a distance place because of certain mode. Like you see, you and me are talking to, we feel we are not sitting in the same office. We're in the same similar space. So mentally, we are in the same space called Zoom. Okay. And here we are together. So we don't feel the distance. So technology has made it possible. And if human beings talk to each other with same connect, I'm not distracted, I am not switching it off and doing something else parallelly, then I'm being with you completely. So if these kind of communications are happening, then that distance won't matter and employees will be engaged. Okay. And the other benefits can be taken care of. There, what you need to engage a person, you need to know what is his need. Am I serving that as an organization? And is the person emotionally connected with me?
Yeah.
In organizations, engagement happens when one employee is emotionally connected with the peers, emotionally connected with bosses, emotionally connected with people and surroundings around.
Yeah.
So the similar kind of connect has to be done. And a person has to feel appreciated, accepted,
Correct.
belong. That is more important, which you can do even with the virtual mode. I have certain communities of coaches which are virtual, but we feel very belonged there. We feel very, very belonged there. because of the way that we connect with each other. So the way you connect is very important. So
Yeah.
even if you have workforce working in different part of the world, you can still keep that engagement process alive. For that, someone, either in the HR or someone, has to own up that it is my responsibility to see that I get all of them together at one space, and then we engage those kind of communications, and then we create those kind of processes and structures. So that is how it can happen. Not a problem. However, still, I would say once in a while, if you all can meet physically, it has its own charm, because when you meet physically, every physical body, every being brings with themselves a certain set of energy. And that limbic system connection, which I was talking about, that happens in the physical space very well. So
Yeah.
therefore, don't rid that off completely. But organizations must create those kind of engagements when they come physically and meet together. Yeah.
Right, right. I think that's a fantastic approach. It all depends on the culture that you establish, the practices that you follow internally at your organization, and how you're able to pass it to the people who are joining in, and how you're able to create that culture of equality as well. So I think you've
Mm.
it's a fantastic approach, and it's a great reminder that flexibility and connection don't have to be at odds if companies are intentional about how they support their teams, right? So,
Abs-
yes, and finally, I would love to get your thoughts on something that's been making headlines recently. The debate around India potentially adopting a 6 day, 70-hour work week. What's your take on how this could impact things like work-life balance, innovation, and employee satisfaction?
See, the culture in the organizations, I see most organizations being such that work is in the mind of the employee, even if the employee is on a vacation.
Right.
He go back to, takes a leave and goes to meet parents, ailing parents in the hospital. Still, the mind is there. Some call can come. Okay, where is it here? That total disconnect which used to happen earlier is no more there nowadays. So, and with that laptop thing and the mobile thing, if the WhatsApp has become a business space, working space nowadays, it's sometimes you feel whether you should keep the WhatsApp live or not.
Yeah.
So, mentally, presently, we are in that kind of a cultural setup or organize where the hours are leaving. It's the boundaries are becoming very fragile. Though I find some people who have taken this stand, that after this we won't touch this, after this. In India, it has started happening. Some people have started drawing the boundary saying after 5 o'clock we will not look into it and all. But you know how it happens. Those
Yeah.
they are still small in number. So
Yeah.
they are looked down upon and they have different. That breed is to take the critical mass is still not there. But in countries which are abroad, in like European, some of the European countries and all that, demarcations has happened very clear. So in our case, saying 70 hours, I don't know. I think sometimes we are working even on Sunday, depending upon what is the criticality of the work. So presently, we are in a very fluid situation in India, I believe, People are working many hours. Um, Even though it's 9 hours written, you see consultants how much they're working. Even government offices, we see people sitting so much late and working so hard. So, hours, 48 hours, 70 hours, the boundary is, it's, anyways. So, now I want to give you my thought process around that. Is that, and what is work and what is life balance, work-life balance, and things like that.
Yeah.
So there is actually we are life,
Yeah.
A- and in that life, work is a part.
Yeah.
They are not two different things that I am balancing out, two different sides. So when I'm in work, do you think I'm not living? Or do
Yeah.
you think I don't have emotions? Or do you think I'm not making connections?
Right.
Or do you think I'm not enjoying life? When I go to work, I become a robot and working. Doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
And same way. If I'm living, do you think I'm not working? I'm living, I'm cleaning the house, I'm still putting things properly, I'm still planning for what next can be done. So
Yeah.
I don't take them as two separate things which are exclusive with each other. They're integrated.
Yeah.
Life is the bigger thing, and work is a part of it.
Right.
In that life, if the work is of your purpose with which you are driven, if your work is aligned with that, and it is aligned with your natural abilities and passions and
Yeah.
your strength areas, you're having a wonderful life. You need to balance it only if it is not aligned with that.
Yeah.
Now, anything we do as a profession or something, some part of it are some things that we don't like to do, but we have to do.
Mm.
That's okay. But by far, if we are doing things which are aligned with our purpose and which we love to do and enjoy, we can be doing it. If such a situation is there, you can go for 100 hours of working. Why 70 hours? You go everything because you enjoy life.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is fine.
Yeah.
But does that happen all the time? It doesn't really happen all the time. So if that doesn't happen, a person is coming and doing some work, maybe with purpose, it is aligned. Maybe he's trying to somehow see purpose so that I feel aligned and inspired. So we must not be away from the reality. 90% of the time, people will be working because there's some livelihood is to be earned. And in the process, they start liking it, they start growing into it. As they grow old into it, it's okay.
Hmm.
We must not close our eyes to the realities that when we start working or livelihood, that is the age when we have to get married, we get children. Okay, people say these hours are working and all. They I would suggest one more important point that everybody should be considering is around, look at the work life balance from the perspective of a woman also,
Yeah.
and from other categories. So you got to be giving time to children, you got to be giving time to, then by the time you become managers, GM, general managers, etc., your parents are ailing, they
Yeah.
are in their last days, they need your attention. So
Hmm.
there is a family responsibility which is there, which and the society which is there. So
Yeah.
that demands certain time. Even if you're fully inspired with your purpose and aligned with your work, there's
Yeah.
still this kind of roles which are required. And if we got to be doing that duties properly, and that is what keeps the society and the community running well, then
Yeah.
it is important that we ascertain that kind of a time slot for them. So, given that, I feel that my personal take would be that uh, the weekend is a space that should be available to people. It should not be taken away from them
Yeah.
because one Saturday people are just finishing up their bank work, this work, that work. At least one Sunday they get to sleep. One Sunday they don't have to think that I have to get up and go and catch a bus or something. So my take would be, I would rather say work less, work more, very good quality work you do, be very productive to the society, and also sustain the community and the society. That's important.
Yeah.
That's very much important. I would also say that even for the office hours, etc., which are there on the working days also, uh, try and see in such a way that it is not, it is not, it should be in such a way that people should be able to do justice with their role as parents, as children.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do that, we will lose the community coming. Tomorrow's children, if we don't give them enough time today when they are growing up, then they will come up as tomorrow's workforce. And then they will have so many issues handling them.
Yeah.
And we will not get right kind of leaders if we don't invest, if the mothers and the fathers don't invest time in their growing up now when they are children.
Yeah.
So that's important time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Right. That's such a thoughtful take, Dr. Rachna. It's definitely a complex issue, but your perspective adds so much depth to the conversation. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and expertise with us today, Dr. Rachna. This has been such an insightful and enlightening conversation. It's also very clear that the workplaces are evolving in so many ways, and It's discussions like these that help us navigate these changes meaningfully. So, thank you so much once again for being a part of the People Hums interview series. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. Yeah, take care.